Good afternoon, everyone. You're ready for some fresh black coffee.
Oh, my goodness. Yes.
So, David, my sidekick, partner in crime, David Van Risingham, and I am Eddie Huff, in case you happen to stumble on this site. We're ready to do it, and we have now for how long, Dave?
We're in our fifth season.
In our fifth season, okay.
Yeah.
I hope they renew us.
Yeah. Yes.
The good thing about us being renewed, we renew ourselves or cancel it ourselves. And of course, you can cancel us anytime you want, but we hope you don't. Dave, man, lots going on, lots of things to talk about. Political news, world news, local state news, and of course, sports news.
Yeah.
And so, the Sooners are going to be playing here in a minute or so.
Yeah,
11:30, I think, starts the game against Missouri. My team, the Raiders. Oh, yeah, I forgot I had them on. I know, I really did. I forgot I had this on. But anyway, they have a bye this week, so I don't have to. I have another week to pray up for them to win.
I got news on Oklahoma. They're behind already.
I had a feeling this was going to maybe a trap game. You know why?
Yeah. Because
they beat Alabama. Oh,
yeah.
And so they can start believing their press clippings.
Yeah.
And that's always a dangerous. That's what I'm afraid of or worried about myself with my Red Raiders. But so far, they've been able to come up. They have lost one game all year to Arizona State, who they'll never have to play again, I'm sure. But the other teams that they beat will BYU and Utah are the two big challenges. It's interesting that the Mormon state, Utah, has been able to put out such good players. A lot of the Mormons go to University of Utah. Yeah, and to, of course, Brigham Young.
Right.
Yeah, no, it's true. And, oh, by the way, let me say that, a lot of people may have questioned why the Big 12 chose Brigham Young versus some other schools to bring into the Big 12. Well, not only are they one of the top football schools now, they're number 8 in the nation in basketball.
Yes. And it's the Notre Dame effect. There are Catholics all over the nation, right?
Right.
There's Mormons all over too.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And, I mean, Baylor has a little bit of that effect.
Right.
You've got the Baptists all over that. Yeah. But I have to tell you, good friends, longtime clients of mine, the Warner family, he was bishop of one of the Mormon churches here in Central Tulsa. And, I'm talking all excited. I said, guys, this would be great having BYU, and that. And finally, his wife says, well, Gil and I went to Utah, not to BYU.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay.
That's a stereotyping, I would say. You just assume that a Mormon went to BYU.
Well, I assumed as a Mormon they would be fans.
That would be like somebody telling me, boy, I'm sure you'll appreciate this. The best fried chicken is.
Yeah. Let me tell you where you get some watermelon.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the thing. I assumed that they were BYU fans.
Oh, that thought.
Yes, we're recording.
You missed it. In the audience, unfortunately, some of them, I assume, we're picking up some of it, or did we not pick up?
Well, no, that's our backup audio.
Okay, so
it is the best audio.
Okay, so they did pick up some if they're watching.
Oh yeah, they've got our video feed.
Oh, okay. They can read lips. No, but we were in this discussion about. Well, it led to stereotyping and stereotyping Mormons, and Dave was talking about some Mormon acquaintances of his, and how he just assumed they must have gone to BYU, and he thought he was complimenting, and they didn't. Where do they go?
Went to the University of Utah.
Yeah.
And it would be like saying that every Methodist in Oklahoma is an SMU fan.
Yeah.
Or every Baptist in Oklahoma is a Baylor fan.
Right. Or all the black players go to a HBCU or something.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny, though. A lot of people don't know this, but when the HBCUs, it is kind of, in a way, still stereotypical.
Oh, yeah. Like, you're a Grambling fan then, right?
Well, well, yeah. But when you watch the games, the teams are almost always all black.
Oh, yeah.
But the kicker is always white.
Oh.
Yeah. So, if you got a son out there that's a good kicker, but not quite at D1 level or not being sought by the Division I schools, check out the historically black colleges or universities, Florida A&M, Grambling, Howard. They generally have a white kicker.
Now, you were a varsity soccer coach, and you know that the football coach usually raids your squad to find a kicker.
Well, no, because Union.
Yeah, they're a different animal.
Yeah. They had their own kickers that were always, some of them, but usually if you want to find a kicker, you go to club sports, not to the school. At least in the South. It's weird. In the North, they play soccer in the fall. Mm-hmm. We have it in the spring. It's a spring sport up there. So a lot of times you could be missing out on football talent because they choose soccer instead of football, and vice versa.
That's a good point.
Right. So, but here, ours is in the spring. So a lot of for example, Scott Webb, who was a kicker for Union for a long time. He played soccer on my son's club team and ended up being a kicker for KU, Kansas, for 4 years.
When I was head of the Homeschool Football Federation about 10 years ago, one of our teams, it was Oklahoma City team, they were playing in Manford. It was Manford's homecoming. And so I went to the game, any of the games in the area, I'd go to. And Manford was losing. It was like 9-7. And then in the last minute, Manford got close enough. And here comes the kicker. It's a girl. And she wins 10-9. They won, and it was homecoming night. And let me tell you, that was the most popular girl in the school.
Did they carry her off the field?
I don't remember.
I have a feeling not.
But
it would be probably politically or some kind of incorrect if they grab her and lift her up and carry her off.
Yeah.
Field, even though they should. That's the corner we have painted ourselves into. We've created these rules that don't allow us to celebrate or give credit or as much credit as we could in certain things, because everyone's afraid, well, is this proper? Can we do this? Or, next thing you know, you'll be sued by someone, and it's just a corner we've painted ourselves into with our society, always assuming the worst.
Yeah.
And it's probably some pervert somewhere who wants to make the rules that bar kids from being kids and having fun and doing the right thing, just assuming that they're always up to no good or whatever.
Yeah, but who's the most hazed member of the football squad? That kicker.
Yeah.
In most cases.
Yeah.
Because they're puny, they're usually small.
If not the athletic trainer.
Oh, of course, yeah. There's a pecking order, right?
Yeah.
But, my son's Noah homeschool football, their kicker was also the middle linebacker. And usually like on a kickoff, if he got down there first in that, after the monkey pile started to get off, some of the boys says, dude, you just got tackled by our kicker.
Yeah.
In fact, he was a guy that when Brent Venables was the defensive coordinator, recruited him late, didn't give him a scholarship. He said, I've never seen a guy hit that hard that wasn't college trained.
Well, what's interesting is in Oklahoma football, I remember watching a game where the Union JV played the varsity, and Pawnee. And I always get Pawnee and Shawnee confused, but Pawnee is a little west from here. Anyway, and so, but Pawnee had like 300 pounders, and giants, senior. And then you got these freshmen and sophomore kids. God, but anyway, but what's funny, so all of a sudden halftime comes and these players go running off the field, pick up an instrument, and here comes the marching band. And the marching band is in a football, half of them are in their football uniforms. So these kids are both band members and football players.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so that's really something to see. But it really did something for me to say, man, these kids just love the sport and love being out there, and that they would be gifted. You would never see that in our city, in our big cities with our big schools.
Yep.
You're either in the band or you're on the sports team, the football, basketball, whatever. So it just really touched me, and the devotion the fans in these small schools had to their kids and their players. So I thought it was really, really a wonderful thing to see. Well, listen, Dave, what's the big thing in the news today on your list?
Man, I got a bunch of things. Let me just go over them, and then we'll take them one by one.
Yeah, that's just
in Oklahoma. Remember last year, the big political football is this Catholic charter school, which eventually was ruled unconstitutional.
Right.
Well, guess what? Now a Jewish group wants a Jewish charter school, and they're starting all over again. And I think I've got a take on it that I haven't presented.
Let's hear it.
Well, let me go over the other things. Obamacare subsidies are scheduled to expire.
Well, I'd love to talk about that when we get there.
We got that. Education department is, under the Trump administration, is shutting down operations, and they're getting moved to the existing things to different departments. 3 different departments will take parts of that. You've got the Ukraine-Russia ultimatum. Trump is telling Ukraine, you take this deal or you're on your own. So that's coming up. The deadline's next week. And then I got one other thing. There's a new computer rankings on college football that I think.
Well, that's in our sports department later.
So those are the things I've got on my list.
Well, let's just start with number one.
Well, so last year, Ryan Walters decided that he would throw his support as our school state superintendent of education to allowing a Catholic charter school. And it was a political football. Wasn't really clear. And ultimately, we found out they planned on, as part of the curriculum packages, they were going to teach Catholicism. And so the Supreme Court said, no, you can't do that. And it didn't happen. Now a Jewish group wants a Jewish charter school. I don't have all the details, but there could be a way to get Catholic, Jewish, and Islamic charter schools to team up and get approved.
All right. How do they team up? First of all, if they team up, shame on you. But at the bigger issue, how would they're teaming up?
Okay.
Legally speaking, if we're talking the legal objection currently to the Catholic, why would their teaming up together change that?
Okay. In the early 90s, there was a fight over a nativity scene on a courthouse lawn.
I remember that.
And it was finally approved because under the details, we found out they were showing a multitude of different religious symbols, not just Christianity. It's what George Will called, aptly so, constitutional clutter. As long as you aren't establishing a state religion, then that part of the U.S. Constitution doesn't apply. You're just generally recognizing the cultural impact of various religions.
Okay, so in this nativity scene, instead of a star, did it have a crescent moon with a star?
They had separate scenes all throughout the courthouse lawn.
Okay.
Of different things. I don't know. They might add Kwanzaa.
Come on.
Complete with raffle tickets, right? Yeah. I mean, not raffle, lotto tickets. Yes. And food stamps distribution. I don't see, I'm just going to get totally biased now.
I guess.
I've been listening to Shirley Q. Liquor too long.
Shirley Q. Oh, my goodness.
But anyway, but that's the principle. As long as the state stays neutral in it,
right.
That courthouse, that county government was allowed to use their resources to accommodate religious expression.
Yeah, well, let me just say right away.
Okay.
I'm opposed.
Okay.
I'm opposed to, I've gotten in trouble for this before because you remember on KFQ, I was opposed to private schools, basically. Not opposed to, but I was not a big fan that they necessarily did, spiritually speaking, did well. We're the best option. But you're just opening a total can of worms because next thing you know, you'll have satanic schools. There's nothing to stop a satanic school if you're going to do a Jewish, Catholic, Presbyterian.
Isn't that called freedom of religion?
It is, but you can have your freedom of religion without having the state pay for it. And so that's just the way I look at it. I think, but of course, I'm a public school proponent. My thing is fix the public schools, and then you don't need the private schools. That's the thing. Once the salt has lost its flavor.
Who are you to tell some other family what that family needs to raise their kids?
I'm not telling you what you need to raise, but why can't you give them that?
You just said fix the public schools and you don't need the private schools. You're saying you don't need the private schools.
Yeah, because they can get the same thing out of the public school as they would out of the private school.
The Catholics don't believe that in their
that's the
Catholic education. Yeah, but that's their philosophy.
Yes, but see, I'm not sending you to school to become a better Catholic.
Some people are though.
Well, but you and I went to Catholic school and we were worse than the public school. Let's just put it that way.
I get that.
And everyone that knows Catholic school or went to Catholic school knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not this. And I went in worst place in Philadelphia, and where half of everybody in the choir, all the choir boys, turned out gay.
Yeah,
in this private school. And you had your football players, and you had your choir, and you had it's segmented like you do it, but in different ways. And everybody knew that if you went to the choir, you were gay. I don't know if they turned you gay or you're already leaning that way. But so what I'm saying, a parochial school is not going to ensure a better child than a non. In fact, I remember with Victory, what was happening, and I don't know how Holland Hall is or some of the others. A lot of parents felt that their kids, they were bad kids. Let's say they were getting in trouble.
Victory
at different ones.
Yeah.
And so what would they do then? Well, let's send them over here to this school, a private school, and that'll straighten them out. No, what happened? A little leaven ruined the whole. Right. And so a lot of times that's what ends up happening. And I'm not picking on Victory or Holland Hall or Bishop or whatever. And I think everybody knows probably Bishop Kelly has its bad apples, bad seed, and Metro or whoever it is. A private school is not going to ensure a good moral child. Yeah. And you can have, but anyway, I've believed in this for a long time because we're to be in the world, but not of it, not out of the world, but of it, and that's what I find out. We send a lot of kids to private schools thinking, but they bring the same world into it instead of the opposite. So that's my only opposition that I believe. And I believe we've ruined every time we take kids out, the Christian kids. I'm just going to go the long game. The important thing is you're not just taking the kids out. What's the most important thing you're taking out of it? The parents. And so your PTA ends up become secularized. and then your school board becomes secularized, and every time, it's going to hell, so let me take my kids, and then it goes more to hell, towards hell, and you pull more out. And next thing you know, you just got basically hell.
Mm-hmm. You got a juvie.
The public schools, and instead of us taking the authority, taking that ground back, it's a mission field. Go back. If you train your kids in the way they should go, then when they get old, they will not depart from it.
Yeah.
That's a personal thing. If you feel that you need to send your kids to a private school and you can afford it, go ahead. I'm just saying it saddens me that, and I could tell you another biggest story from when I got saved and all the kids that were in public school and literally transformed the public schools. We saw this Jesus movement in high schools. At lunchtime, they would fill the stadiums with kids doing worship over lunch period in the football stadium, singing, worshiping, and having somebody speak, give testimonies. Then what happens? Somebody said, let's create a private school. And all those kids would leave and go to the private school, killed that. And the evangelism in the schools stopped. So anyway, that's just my private peeve.
I want to say,
don't agree.
My brother, one of my older brothers, lived in Cincinnati, ended up dating and then marrying a gal from Cincinnati. That gal had gone to a Catholic all-girls high school. And my brother explained to me, now my sister-in-law's passed away, colon cancer, several years ago. So,
the same girl?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't think I'm disrespecting her when I tell you what she said their school was called in the common vernacular. They were the Seton sluts. And because, listen, Paul said, look, all the school bond issues always fail in this area of Cincinnati because we're so overwhelmingly Catholic. We put all our money into Catholic schools, and not just the Catholic Xavier. They've got a lot of support in Cincinnati. It's a very Catholic town. But yes, the public school system does not do as well because of that.
Oh, yeah.
I do want to say this to you, Eddie, is a little bit of pushback on what you just told me your position is. My job as a dad is to train up my child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he'll not depart. It isn't as big a priority to fix the other family's kids. And although that is a command of God, a mission, be a witness in your community before the world, right? There is a priority to it. But I also remember at one time talking about my part of town. I live near 61st in Peoria. It wasn't bad when I bought the house, but it's gotten bad. And you said on Facebook to me, Dave, you need to move. I said, no, I need to restore my neighborhood to what it was. And when you heard that, you commended me for it.
Right. Yeah. But
your first advice was for me to bail out of it.
Well, no. And it's the same. Like, that's what I'm still doing the same. If you honestly don't feel you have the energy or whatever to try to fix the public school, then go to private school.
Yeah.
But I'm saying the commission was to go into the world, be the salt of the world, and influence the world. But we can't influence the world when we're not in it. Right. What did Jesus say? Be in the world, just not of it. And we're the other way around. We're not in the world, but we're of it, which is sad. That's the sad. It's almost a reverse situation.
This is two-part for me. I've watched kids. In fact, a young man that I've been working with this last few months left Jinx to go to Victory because he's being bullied at Jinx. And it got severe enough he needed to. Okay?
Yeah, oh, sure.
But the second part of it, as a little boy, when I was 3-4 years old, all my older siblings were going to St. Mary's Catholic School. until my parents pulled all of them out during my kindergarten year to go to the public school, Lindbergh Elementary, because at the Catholic school, my brothers were being bullied.
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
It happens both ways.
No,
in fact, I will say this without naming names, but one of the prominent Christian schools that you're very familiar with, Eddie, two of my son's friends from church died of drug overdoses while at that Christian school in South Tulsa. So
on Lewis. No. No, sorry.
So,
I just had to do that. But,
so yeah, it's, they have their problems.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. If we're looking at, and this is the problem I have, I keep hearing this, where parents want to take their kids out of the failed schools, and all we're doing is creating a greater hell, a greater hole over here in that. And instead of us being willing to get in there and fight and influence, we're supposed to be the influencer, not the influenced. And we're basically saying, I'm taking the easy road out. Let me go over here. And here's a real danger too about the private schools. Like when my kids went to public school, I was careful to monitor who they hung out with, what they did, where they went, and to talk to them about life and different things. What happens when you a lot of people send their kids to a private school, a Christian school in particular, they take their hands off. They just assume, well, everything's good over here. And then you end up with, in fact, the first time this happened to me, the church where I got saved in, fellowship back in the Jesus movement days, we were a bunch of hippies and people, druggies and everything. We all got saved, and like the Calvary Chapel.
Revival.
Stuff. Right. So all of a sudden, our pastor decides we're going to start a Christian school. So they start this Christian school, and it was a wonderful school. Everything was going well. So I'm in Europe, and I'm reading one day in the Stars and Stripes, the military newspaper there in Europe for the military. And it talks about a survey that was done that found that Christian school pregnancy rates among Christian school, it was like 2 points less than secular schools, public schools. And they just don't know my school. Our church, where we came out, our fellowship, because
our kids are angels.
Our kids, and our teachers are better than that.
Yeah.
They've taught. So I come home on a furlough. I'll never forget this. And I'm sitting with the principal, and I said, "Yeah, how's everything?" "Yeah, it's been a challenging year. Now this is school with 100 students." He said, "Yeah, we had 13 girls we had to kick out because they were pregnant."
Yeah.
And I said, 13, that's 13% of the students, and even say 20% of the girls.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it was like somebody smacked me across the face to wake up that why would you think that because it's your identity, you should be above what everybody else is. And I instantly realized that I was wrong in assuming that this Christian school was different from the other Christian schools and therefore didn't fit into that survey, but it was true. And so from that moment on, it caused me to rethink everything that I had thought prior to that. And then, like I said, my kids I went to a Catholic school, and I probably told the story. My best friend turned out to be gay. He was a choir boy.
Yeah.
And he turned out to be gay, and we remained best friends until I graduated and got saved. And I wrote him a letter, told him about my salvation. He told me he couldn't be my friend anymore because he was gay. And he rejected me instead of me rejecting him. And so it's caused me to relook and rethink a lot of my prior thoughts.
Yep.
And now I'm not condemning private schools. The one thing I will say about private schools, see, if you're removing your kids because of academics, that's different. But if you're removing your kid from public school just because you don't want them to be around those heathen, then it's a different thing. Yeah. So if you go to a private school that is raising academically excellent young people, then go for it.
Yeah.
But if you're just going to escape the world, I don't think that tells me you're not willing to be the parent that you need to be to put into your children what you need to put into them.
Well, I'm homeschooled all my kids all the way through.
See, that's another whole story. Right?
I don't owe it to anybody to institutionalize my kids into their facility, public, private, whatever.
Right.
And that is a choice.
Sure.
Yeah. Yesterday, I sat through Grandparents' Day at Regent. I have 4 grandkids there. Really impressed with what they're doing. I just don't want to say for anybody, this is what you should do.
Right. But see, I would have to say, if you're going to create a private school and have a private school or send your kids to a private school, follow the Regent model. Okay. Because everybody I know, and I'm fighting about more and more, our governor, different legislators.
Matt Pinnell's kids.
Exactly. Stitt's kids.
Right.
The governors, politicians, business people, lawyers, attorney, and all good Christian and friends of our daughter's, her best friend, her kids went there, daughters went there. There is an excellent academic excellence that Regent has. So if you're going to do it for that reason, that's what I was saying before. If you're truly going because of academics, then that's one thing. But see, it's funny because we transferred our daughter from a Christian school over to Union, and she was a 4.0 student there, and the counselors there were just excited to get a 4-point student. I didn't think she ended up with a 4.3.
She made them look good.
Right. They're usually losing them to Booker T, and so they were so excited, and sure enough, she ended up with a 4-point plus again, and ended up getting a full ride to Pepperdine, where she finished with a 3.95 or something. And there's other reasons for that. But what I'm trying to get at is this, and this is what they taught me there, the counselors at Union, because they were saying, "Oh, we're so excited to get it." I said, "Well, I don't know if she'll be able to do this here." And she said, the counselor said, "Oh yeah, they've learned that whatever level a child is at one school, no matter how high or low, they're going to settle in the same." And it's funny because I graduated from high school with a 2.2, and I finished college with a 2.21. and I cheated one semester. I cheated to get that up.
But I've heard how you rode your kids' butts to get A's.
Well, yeah. Exactly. It was a difference in parenting because I saw what happened to me.
I agree.
And my wife was very much, I have to give the kudos to my wife.
Vicky is awesome.
She did her job raising them when they were young.
Yes.
In the summers, instead of playtime, library. And they bring books home, and they're reading these books and doing, So there is a cost. There's always a cost to pay now for later.
Absolutely. So, no, I think that's so important. And
but getting back to the original
we were talking about the Jewish charter school.
Right. So to me, I don't have a problem with either way.
Okay.
If you want to have a charter school, have a charter school. But my only issue is at the cost of further diminishing public schools.
Okay. A charter school is part of the public school system. In fact, it's run by, in answers to, the State Department of Education.
Right. But you know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
That the leadership, the on hands, the teachers, the principals, the superintendent, school board is not going to be in a public school.
You need to support this, Eddie, or the Schustermans are going to call you anti-Semitic. I guess
I'm anti-Semitic. I'm anti-Catholic. I'm anti-Jewish. I'm anti-Protestant. I don't care what you are. I just don't feel we're doing our job as believers in pulling the salt out of the earth.
You know what I'll say? The libertarian in me will say, I'm more against it than you. All of it. And I can back it up. I homeschooled my kids and I didn't get a parental choice tax credit. I just wanted my kids to love learning.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember as a kid, I threw snowballs at the girls and I had to write 800 sentences. I won't throw snow at the girls at recess. You know,
you got lucky.
Writing was a punishment. I was 45 before I realized I love writing.
I had to write the Apostles' Creed 100 times.
Okay. You see what they're doing? They're making writing a punishment. You're supposed to hate it.
Yeah.
And that's anti-education.
The one thing it did for me, I learned the Apostles' Creed.
Yes, you did. See, you know what I did? I made my kids write their own
Creed,
Apostles' Creed, and their own Pledge of Allegiance. Rather than teach them somebody else's
Pledge allegiance to my dad. Who's making me write this 100 times.
You make them enjoy discovery, learning, and owning their beliefs instead of being indoctrinated. You know, that's where I'm at on it. So, my buddy David Oldham will say that ain't good enough, you know, because I mean, there's just so many things. Now, politically, is it going to pass? No, where I'm at on it is not. The majority is not going to support where I'm at.
No, and that's the problem. But honestly, you know, I get so tired of hearing people say the public schools are going to hell. So I always say yes, and you're helping to send it there.
Now, your friend Ben Harris, who started Epic, one of the co-founders, and I know Ben. He and I go back 30 years. He was speaking to the Republican Men's Club about 5 years ago. He said, there's a part to public education you can't ignore, and that's the child care component that we're providing that nobody wants to talk about. And people's policy views on things have a lot to do with, you know, am I off the hook? Can I go work a job and make a second income and somebody else take care of my kids? That's a lot of it.
It is. You're right. You're exactly correct. And I mean, there's so much. I think I've told the story about how we were starting a charter school, and it was going to go from 7 in the morning to 5 in the evening, or 5:30, to allow parents to drop their child off in the morning, go to work, come back, and you had a 6-hour academic day, extracurricular till 5. Basically childcare, and what we were competing against, but we had to charge something.
Yeah. And
we had figured out we could do it for $200 per child per month. Now you tell me where you can get away with 200.
Peanuts.
Yeah. So anyway, and we were going to use Epic. Epic is we're going to provide the academic portion. And so that year, 2 other charter schools were starting, and this was in North Tulsa, and we were going to do it with the Maybe Center North, Salvation Army.
Yep.
And they had recording studio.
Oh, it's a beautiful place.
Had all these things. And one of the charter schools was a church up there. And what they were doing, like I said, it was going to be $200 we were going to charge, but we would feed them, take care of them all day. It was like, you know, and we were only doing first through 3rd grade to begin.
Right.
So all of a sudden, this other charter school is getting started at this church, and you could send your kid to school for free, but afterwards, they had a football program that you had to pay for.
Yeah.
And it was $500 a month just for they had to turn parents away, and we couldn't get any to come for free education, you know, but there the parents were ready to pay for football, but they're not prepared to pay for academics.
That's called Oklahoma values.
It's sad. It's sad. And of those boys, it was all boys.
Yeah.
Of all of those, if you go back and look, how many of them do you think probably made it to college and then into pros beyond that?
Yeah, I don't know the
very, very, very few.
I know.
It's just naturally that way.
My dear friend, and you know the Blankenship family, Joe Blankenship eventually joined that football program as a coach after being at Metro for a number of years, and then after being Noah founding head coach. And I just have a great respect for Joe as a character building man. All the Blankenship brothers, you know, Bill, you know, and
good friend.
So, yeah, it's how it.
Well, it's priorities.
Yeah,
it's priorities, and what we've gotten into. That's a situation where every parent thinks their son is going to be a football star.
Yeah.
Because they have some talent at a certain age.
Yeah.
Every female thinks their daughter is going to be a ballerina or this or that or marry rich or whatever. You know, so no matter what it is, and it seems to go along racial lines as well. You know, Black parents value football, basketball, let's say more.
Yeah.
Your white parents pay exorbitant amounts of money for soccer camps and soccer clubs. You know, this my son included in California. I think he probably pays $2,000-$3,000 a year, maybe more. Well, especially because they're playing all over. He flew to Nashville with my granddaughter to play in some soccer tournament. 12 years old, 12 years old. And they're flying around California and I'm thinking, are you insane? I mean, that's what I think. But, you know, so it's almost every race class, you know, has this certain propensities for certain things that I think are a little bit crazy.
Well, and I'll say this, Eddie, you know the Tulsa soccer scene, developmental soccer, better than I do, but I just say my oldest son, he's in second grade. My wife had a health issue that continued on, but for the next couple years, we could just barely do the fundamentals. Then fifth grade for my son, we're like, okay, let's get him back in soccer. He was by far the worst on the team. And this is his dad saying he was the worst on the team. It was so bad, and the coach didn't help. He was part of a Metro team in Tulsa United. And the coach thought he'd motivate. He says, if Jonathan scores a goal, I'll bring ice cream for everybody. Then they hated him even more when he didn't score a goal. Well, the last regular season game, it's 0-0, and he's the center, along with the best guy on the team is the other center. The other guy whiffs a point-blank kick open, and the ball keeps trailing down, and Jonathan pooches it in. He scores. They carried him up. Wow, on it to carry him off the field. He's scared to death. But this is the pressure they have. And I realized I didn't have my kid in soccer every year since he was 4.
Right.
And so he's way behind, and there's not going to be any catching up.
No, if you're not there by 9, you're done. You just, there's certain, it's like linguistically. In certain countries, if you don't, I think they said it's 8, probably 8. If you don't learn the language by then, there's certain languages, your mouth forms a certain, you can't form your tongue.
That's true.
In a certain way.
Yeah, your muscular development.
Right.
Yeah.
You just can't say, that's why, like, Achtung.
Yeah.
You know, that's why American
or that vibrating tongue that the Spanish have in a lot of the words.
Rolling, and then in the Koza in South Africa, where it clicks. Now the whites have been able to do it as it clicks, but they don't do it. They're able to click, make your throat click.
Wow!
And there's no way you can do that.
No.
And it's the weirdest thing to hear these people, they're talking and just automatically their muscles click on these certain, whereas the white people trying to emulate it have to do it with
it's
the tongue.
only through an immersion in that environment.
Well,
that you
yeah,
picked
and
up.
as a child, I mean, when you're still developing the muscles,
Yeah.
that it happens. So anyway, these are certain things. But anyway, getting back to our original point about a Jewish parochial school,
Mhm.
I'm not opposed to it any more than I'm opposed to a Catholic or a Protestant one. I don't mind them doing it, but for 100 years, 200 years, the Catholics have survived and managed to do it privately. So why shouldn't the Protestants and the Jews also be able to do it privately, especially since in the Jewish community, they have more money than anybody else anyway. It's a reverse stereotyping. Let's put it, they can afford it. No, but
So if you're Jewish, you're rich.
the chances are. And you're Protestants as well. And so a lot of time your Catholic schools, even, this is what's so interesting, okay? When I came to America, I went to Catholic school in the ghetto in Philadelphia, okay?
Yeah.
And I don't remember us paying anything. I don't remember now.
Right.
But it was privately funded. There was so much money in the
parish
church, the parish, they could fund this private school. And still Tulsa, well, think about it. Most of the mayors are what? Catholics.
Yeah.
And so, or have some relationship.
Yeah, no, the Catholics overrepresent us in politics. So when Ted King was here, he admitted it.
Yeah, and so much of the big money in town here, it's Jewish and Catholic.
Yeah.
So, the Protestants may feel underrepresented or, well, that's not fair. Well, that's life. Black people are better at running back.
Yeah,
and receiver
and playing bass
and dancing. No, but oh man, we're gonna be in trouble. But anyway, no. But I mean, there's certain things, giftings, and financially speaking, just because of the way society's been set up, certain ethnicities have more income and giftings in certain areas than others do. I'm not trying to say that it's a genetic thing.
No, it's not. I know
it's environmental.
It's a discipline too.
Well, right.
The Catholics are more disciplined people.
Right. Oh, in fact, that's funny because you mentioned that because my kids, one of them went to a Catholic university.
Which one?
The youngest, Michael. Yeah.
Okay.
He ended up at a Catholic university. And then my other one went to the Coast Guard Academy, the other one of the other younger ones, Zach. And so I remember.
No, one of them went to a Mennonite one too, right?
Oh, that was because that was punishment.
Right. But it was, so.
Yeah. But anyway, so he's these kids are there. And I remember.
Sorry, Mennonites, your punishment. I've hung out with a lot of Mennonites. I got some great friends who are Mennonites.
Right.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I remember my one son, the Coast Guard Academy one, and he was having a hard time. And he says, I said, why are you having he said, Dad, I'm up here with all these Catholic school kids, and they learned how to learn. They were taught to learn, and it just showed. They all come out of or my other one at University of Dayton, which is a Catholic school university. Anyway, his roommate, he said, Dad, I'm studying like 6 hours a day just to keep up. Mm-hmm. Tony, my roommate, he never does homework, nothing, and he goes in and he's got all A's. Mm-hmm. But it's that Catholic. It was in Ohio, and so and they just they learn. They know how to learn at a younger age.
Well, education is just
they're taught to learn. They're taught to learn. That's
I agree, but I'm saying the Catholic way of life and observing the sacraments, and you got to be at a mass on time, and have you gone to confession? All this, there's structure.
Yeah, but academically, when you go to Catholic school, more is demanded of you.
I understand. And you can because the whole family is living a more structured life, generally, if they're observing the sacraments.
Okay.
I think that's a big part of it.
Right. But I still think most of it is the teachers just don't put up with the guff that other teachers do or have to do now in public school. I mean, not much is required of you when you go to public school anymore. Yeah. Which is sad.
Yeah. Now, here's some good things happening.
Okay.
I'm going to just roll right into Trump is closing down the National Department of Education. Okay. When you and I were younger in the 70s, it was health, education, and welfare was one department.
HEW, right.
Okay. And then it was Cardis as we need a Department of Education. And then we changed the health and welfare into health and human services, because that dirty word welfare, how dare you, demean these people. So, when John Cox was here a few months ago, he said, man, it would be nice for me personally if I was named interim superintendent until the next election, right, because this is where that transition's happening. And it's really important how you structure it, because all of a sudden our state Department of Education is going to get a massive ton of money. And how you divvy it up to start with, it'll be harder to change. If you're John Cox and you get elected next November, then you got to start undoing. Once people are used to getting money, they want to keep getting that money.
That's the problem.
Bureaucrats.
And see, what I'm afraid of, and I'm going to say this to our governor, what I'm afraid of, and probably it's more our next governor than our current one, mm-hmm, but you're going to put some political donor or somebody with some political and financial clout over all this money. And that tends to not be such a good idea.
Well, that's why in our Constitution, we set up it so that it's an elective office, separate from all the politicians, except in this condition where you get a resignation.
Exactly. So because it's this type of situation, mm-hmm, I'm afraid of that happening.
Yeah.
Somebody with political clout or in the deep pockets that can, you rub my back, I'll rip yours. And then this person is now put in charge until the election comes. It doesn't mean you can't change it then. But it's just, it truly, the most amazing scripture truly is, the love of money is the root of all evil.
But here's the other thing I don't understand. When we've had a vacancy in other places, if it didn't happen during a scheduled election year, we held a special election,
right?
And why we're not having a special election for superintendent? Now, I don't know why. Because you call it, the primary is in 60 days, and then the general is in 120 days from the vacancy.
Mm-hmm.
So then 120, that's 4 months roughly, and you got new person in. We're not going to have our choice in
for
over a year.
Yeah.
It'll be 2027 before our choice gets, sworn in.
Yeah.
So, that is a problem.
It is.
It is.
No, I agree. And I'm afraid of happening what, and listen, I'm not opposed to Governor Stitt. I supported him. I hosted, I mastered of ceremony, several events.
Yeah, we were at his last one.
Right. It's several things. And so I think generally he's a good guy. Okay. I think our governor's a good guy. Nevertheless, he's not uninfluenceable, I guess, if that's a word. And he does have friends, and it's natural to do that. And he has ambitions beyond this position he has currently, his future.
Yeah.
So these are all things. I'm just throwing out it as a warning. I would prefer if he would just allow it to truly be a situation where you get a list of people, let's say John Cox and 4 others, mm-hmm, submit their resumes and their backgrounds and so forth. And then you have a group of people decide who they feel is the best out of that group, rather than give it to one person to be able to nominate somebody or appoint someone actually. So we'll see how it all turns out here, and the good news is that the money's being returned to the states. The bad news is not all states are going to do the right thing with the money. That's to me the negative thing, that there's too much opportunity. Of course, I guess it's not any different from people not doing right with the money on a federal level, and then you still have people at the state that are not doing right with take California, for example. Mm-hmm. It's one of these, if you get a legislature or a government that doesn't handle money properly, and especially and then you take Illinois, you take Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, the big cities, urban areas, it can be a real mess. So
let's just roll into this, because this is another news story. Okay. The state elected officials are going to get a huge pay raise beginning after next November's election. A
huge pay raise, you say?
It's going to vary greatly. Superintendent of public education is going to more than double.
I think I'm going to run.
Yeah.
Sorry, John.
Well, and I called John Cox last week. He says, you're going to start attracting people who just want the money.
Well, sure.
And because right now, Ryan Walters left office receiving an annual salary of $124,000. Whoever we elect is going to get $250,000. Just a little more than double it.
Yeah, that is.
Now, is that more than the governor? By a mile. The governor is currently getting $147,000. It's going to go to $155,000. That doesn't even keep up with inflation.
Right.
Okay. So I won't even call that a real increase. But believe
How about
it or
the
not,
state legislature?
No, I'll get to that here.
Okay.
Get this. Insurance commissioner. That's the second most after public education.
Oh, well, there you go. That's what I'm running for.
There you go.
I'm going to be your next.
Right now it's 126. Going to go to 185. That's that's almost 50%.
Yeah, I don't want to consider it under 200.
I don't think this one dealt with the legislature, because that recently was increased. They were making around 35 or so, or 37, and it's up to about 50,000.
And it's funny because our city council went from 25 to 34, I believe, or something. It's mid-20s to mid-30s is what our city council went
When
to.
we passed that city charter change in 90, I think it was, they were only supposed to get $1,000 a month for city council.
So 3 times that.
Yeah. It's just turning into a bureaucrat job.
Yeah, sure.
And they have staffers that are there.
Well, yeah, and as one of them, we won't mention any names, but has already just gotten a $280,000, $280,000+ position at her other job. And no, we're not mentioning any names. But anyway,
I will sing for that.
Yeah. Tell the fat lady sing. Okay. All right. Anyway, but so this person is now getting 34,000 plus the 280. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. Yeah. Next.
Yeah. So we've got that. Anyway, let's go global.
Okay, let's go global.
All of a sudden,
trouble.
Ukraine is facing an ultimatum by Trump to accept the latest deal to end the Russia-Ukraine war. Some of the features of it is there can be no war crimes trials. We're just going to let it all go. There's a few other things. But I think I have not heard Zelensky's official, response to it, but it's pretty somber over there.
Well, I can imagine. It's so funny to me, the back and forth. Mm-hmm. Zelensky's in the good corner, bad corner, good corner, bad corner. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like what was it, 2 weeks, a month ago, Zelensky was back in the good graces. And now, by the way, Oklahoma is now up 14-6.
Yeah.
They've come back. But Zelensky is somewhere, someone needs to just step in and put an end to it. To me, the solution to this, and I know a lot of friends don't agree with me on this. To me, the solution is to give the Donbass to the Russians.
Yeah.
And then set a solid line there. Okay, this is our line, because you've got, I think it's a majority of Russian speakers in that area anyway. Mm-hmm. And you know, see, a lot of people think that the Black Sea separates Ukraine from Russia, because it is a separation. But the problem is, if you go up to the top of the Black Sea there, then Russia touches the Ukraine right there.
Yeah.
So it would just be right, keep going down, and you carve out that portion. But it's probably like Florida, you know, down there. And
the big thing is Ukraine has to maintain Odessa as a seaport.
Right. And I don't think Russia's even asked for that.
There's been terrorist acts there, but it's still under Ukrainian control.
Yeah, and I think it wants to be Ukraine. That is still majority native Ukrainians versus as the farther you go up, Russian speakers have taken over pretty much that whole area.
And you know what? I'd rather, and I understand why you refer to the language they speak. Culturally, they're Russians.
Right.
That's a bigger, broader term than what's spoken.
Thank you. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Right. It's kind of like the Palestinians and the Jews. Mm-hmm. That the Palestinians now feel that area which was given to them by the Jews, that's now their area. And the Jews aren't asking for it back. Mm-hmm. They're just saying, behave. I mean, we've carved out this portion to let you have your own nation, basically. Right. And yet they're not happy with that because we want the rest of it. Mm-hmm. And so too many people in America don't know the whole history, that essentially back until 1967, Israel was a lot smaller. Yeah. It was a lot smaller. And then was it 1972 was the next one? The next invasion, I believe it was in...
It's 1973, the Yom Kippur War.
Was it 1973? Okay, yeah. I knew it was one of the... Because the first one was 1967, and then it was 1973.
I mean, technically, there were those right at the Day of Independence of 1948, there was war. But yeah, big offensive, the 1967 plans, which Israel preempted by striking first. Because they saw it, like, well, there's no way unless we surprise them.
Right.
But yeah, and then the 1973, and it was after the 1973 that the heart of Anwar Sadat changed. That's when he realized the Saudis were determined to defeat Israel if it took every last Egyptian to do it. And the Soviets as well, because he kicked the Soviets out of Egypt. I know it because in 1979, when we tried to rescue the Iranian hostages, my son was at a Soviet military base in Egypt secretly, not as secret as he thought he was, because that thing got sabotaged. But yeah. And so in 1979, when Sadat, or 1978, he says, you know what? If it takes me going to Jerusalem, I'll do it to secure peace. And that blew everybody's mind.
Yeah, Sadat, see, the best thing that ever happened for Egypt, I think, was when Nasser passed away, and then Anwar Sadat came in, took over, and made peace. Because you remember the big thing, he and what is his name? Who was the prime minister of? I can't remember the Israeli prime minister at the time. But anyway, Jimmy Carter negotiated the big peace.
Oh, Menachem Begin.
Begin, right? Yeah. Menachem Begin, and so they. Carter, I mean, that was his greatest accomplishment from the whole time.
Absolutely.
And it was great. And but here's what's really funny. I don't know if you remember this. You may have been too young at the time. I don't know. But Pat Robertson had a special, and he had Anwar Sadat and Begin on the 700 Club.
I saw clips of it one time.
Yeah, and he's praying over these guys, these two men, and they're both there.
Yeah,
allowing him to pray over him. It was quite
Jimmy Carter said the same thing. He got those two guys alone at Camp David, shut everybody else out. And he didn't say that Sadat and him had the same faith. He said they had a
moment.
There's a oneness of belief, you know. And it was kind of funny the way Carter said it, because Carter truly did believe his Christian faith.
Oh, no, I agree. He was a terrible president, but I do believe he was a believer.
Yeah. And that was the thing. In 1980, to my shame, I voted for his reelection because to me, it was about connecting with the individual. You know what? So many left-leaning people, like the woman out in California, the songwriter who got furious over a man in her shower down at the health club. She says, my mistake is I wasn't voting for policies. I was voting for people. And I ended up getting policies I didn't like. And that's what happened with me, is I just identified with, as a new Christian, I just got saved the year before. And I identified with Carter's profession of faith. And I didn't realize how much this nation needed Ronald Reagan. You know?
Yeah. But next on your list?
So Ukraine, and I was trying to find out the details more and more. The media is just not doing a great job. But it is major concessions. And what Trump's saying is you're on your own, because evidently our intelligence apparatus is providing key information to them. Our satellite systems, everything, you know, our assets, and we're basically about to turn our back on Ukraine.
I think a big problem there now today is Zelensky. See, if Zelensky bows to this, he will be ousted. Once the war is over, once peace settles, I think the nation will quickly get rid of him, and he will end up becoming, I hate it, he'll need to leave the country.
I think he should just plan to move to Poland now.
Well, if Poland will accept him. But
I think they would.
But the problem that he has is that the people will say, he got millions of our young men killed. He lost this territory. He did all of this when this could have been settled in the beginning by getting the Allied support to do the same thing we're doing now. Okay, you want the Donbass, you get to, but that's it.
Yeah.
And all the people in misery that has been created, and we end up in the same place. Yeah. And it just so Zelensky can look good. And, you know, and his military outfit, all, you know, the way he dressed all the time, until Trump said, if you want to come meet me, you put on a suit, you know, you put on a suit and act like you're a
That was actually Brian Glenn of Real America's Voice badgered him. And then the next time, Zelensky's wearing a suit. Yeah. And as soon as Brian Glenn's called on, Zelensky starts, smack talking him. He says, "You're wearing the same ugly suit you were wearing last time I was here." Zelensky was priceless.
But it's true. It's a lack of respect. I mean, if African leaders can come in and dress up.
Yeah, I know.
If you name them can come and dress up, and you're going to show up like some guy off the street or something, come on. It's just a lack of respect.
Yeah, I want to tell you that on that, I'm going down a rabbit trail. Real America's Voice grabbed Brian Glenn from Right Side Broadcasting, and they made him their White House press correspondent. And Trump has tag teamed with Brian Glenn like you wouldn't believe. And I think the jealousy is off the charts from the establishment media towards Brian Glenn because he's given special access to everything. It's like, but you know what? People... If the other folks were doing that for Obama and for Biden, they're being lapdogs.
Oh, yeah.
Fine. Brian, I'll be a lapdog too. And by the way, I was thinking, maybe Finland would be the better place for him to go, for Zelensky or something like that. But I think it would be best for him, for his family, for their peace, and for a clear path forward for a post-war Ukraine.
Yeah, the only problem is that if he leaves, he will be seen as a typical guy fleeing with the booty. He'll probably have to take some money with him to live like they've become accustomed to in another country. So what do? And he'll probably never be able to return if he were to leave. So it's almost better for him to stay and just bear the shame for a while and then let history rewrite it differently for him. So I don't know. It's the difference of,
it's just in so many nations when you have a major change, post-war, whatever. I mean, look what happened when, why can't I think of the guy's name? The former Soviet Secretary General, or General Secretary, big birthmark on his forehead. Why can't I think of the guy? Gorbachev. He ended up spending more time in San Francisco.
Yeah.
You just have to get out of the way. Right now, that's seen as a deal for Venezuela to get a fresh start, is you give exile to the old guy.
Right.
Because there's going to always be people that will want their pound of flesh.
Oh, you're exactly right. Exactly right.
Because Anwar Sadat, Libya, Gaddafi.
Yeah.
He was calling out for that same deal. And the famous behind-the-scenes thing is Hillary said no. And when the staff said, what's going to happen? She says, like that.
Yeah.
And they let a mob mutilate, castrate, and then kill him.
Yeah.
Shotgun blast. I won't even. I better stop it. Yeah. In a very
that was
inhumane way.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I have no. It's a tough thing as a believer to have any kind of compassion for Hillary Clinton, but you talk about certain evil. That is an evil person.
I had another response. You were really giving some blame to Zelensky. But in addition, we have to include all the globalists of Europe, Western Europe. I'm going to include Boris Johnson. I'm going to include, France, Germany, all of them. Yeah. And Biden.
Yeah.
I mean, Mark Wayne Mullins sat right here at this desk and said, we had a deal to end that.
That's right.
And Biden destroyed it. Sitting right here, So, I mean, yeah. And Mark Wayne was telling us what he could. He was on the intelligence committee.
Right.
And he only told us what he was, released to say.
Yeah.
He knows a lot more than that.
Yeah. So. No, I agree. That whole thing, and I don't want to go into the whole Biden, but there was so much graft and collusion and illegal stuff going on to get Zelensky in there, and it's just ridiculous. It has a lot to do with Hunter and everything. It's a lot deeper and broader than people know.
Boy, you just stepped in it there. It's about the corruption that has always been part of Ukrainian government, the graft and and so what was going on? And sure enough, Hunter got his payoff. And then he had to send Dad in to cover up for him when they wanted to indict him on Burisma stuff.
What's so amazing is that the audacity that Biden had to sit there and tell the whole story about how he basically blackmailed them.
Yeah.
Told him, I'm leaving at such a time. If you don't give us this, we're going to not help you.
Yeah.
And wouldn't you know it, they gave it to me. And it was a deal that enriched Hunter and him. Ended up coming back to him. So, yeah. And the attack. Oh, let's go to this. This is what I want, because it all relates. There is a full court press on getting Donald Trump right now.
Mm-hmm.
And the big tactic they're trying to use, at least for now, is the Lolita Island thing again, right? And for those that don't, Epstein, the Epstein
emails, right?
Right. And there's no there, as they say. But
Thank you very much. I was right, wasn't I, Eddie?
They're trying to make something out of nothing to basically take the attention away from the butt whipping they're taking everywhere else. And you've got these ignorant fools on Twitter or X, on Facebook, whatever, that are, are you on X?
Yeah.
Yeah. You see it.
Sure.
And in fact, the left fled X for a while.
Yeah.
But now they're back.
Yeah.
Full on. Some of the stuff I read, I just laugh at. What is that one organization? Occupy Democrat.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. The lies.
Yeah, but it's just trolling. It's obvious.
but people that I know, real people here in town, just love this stuff, and they regurgitate it and they put it on there. And of course, I feel obliged to answer.
Thank you, Eddie.
To respond. I just wish more Christians, Republicans, right-thinking people would also do so to push back. This is how they're able to change the mind of people, and which.
Hey, Eddie,
do we go
it
there
worked.
or do we go there later? Oh, no, it always works. It always works.
Yeah, Jack Dempsey, who ran Twitter, founded it, right, until Elon bought it.
Dorsey.
Yeah,
you said Dempsey.
Yeah, you're right.
Dempsey was a boxer.
Yeah. Zuckerberg, what they did to throttle and to shadow ban all of us.
Yeah.
Even though we were there, even though we were typing, even though we were responding, were any people seeing it? How many? And they knew that this was the battlefield.
Yeah.
And they knew they had to put their thumb on the scale to benefit the liberal thing. Yeah. So, Eddie, you're seeing a lot, but you're probably seeing more than is really reflective of reality.
Yeah. Well, no, the reality is that they are outnumbering us on X.
And I'm saying, okay, now that's a good point.
That's what I'm saying. And I'm just trying to get our people, I guess I want to call them our people, the right thinkers, to get your head out of the ground, get out from under the covers, and start pushing back.
Thank you.
Educate yourself and take a beating initially. That's what taught me how to research, and you as well. Probably.
Oh yeah, and don't let it get on your skin.
No,
just keep on. Just let it roll off your back.
I used to just get pounded until I learned how to pound back.
Yeah,
and it's just a learning curve, and we don't have enough people willing to do that.
Yeah, they're trying to discourage us.
They are,
folks. Are you going to let yourself be discouraged?
Right.
I know I've been discouraged. I have. Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
No, you're right. And
but I will take my victory lap now, Eddie, because last week you and I weren't in the same measure on this. I said the only way to make it go away is release it. And not 48 hours after I said that, Donald Trump did exactly what I recommended he do.
Yeah.
It's released and there's nothing there.
Yeah, I never opposed releasing it. I just didn't like the way that it was being portrayed, his not releasing it at the time. I think that was our big discussion on why he didn't, because he, when he says, seriously, he's in the middle of other discussions, and some reporterette over here wants to bring this up, and he's there with the head of Saudi Arabia. No, it wasn't Saudi. It was the Saudi prince. He has the Saudi prince, and he has others there, and these reporters want to bring us something from left field. Well, the whole. Oh man, it keeps running through my mind. Ghislaine Maxwell's what's it? Epstein. Epstein files. You know, that whole deal, and they're trying to make such a big deal out of it, and it's never going to satisfy. It's never, because as soon as they release it, they will redact it, have to, for some reason, to protect the innocent. And what do they and see, I think this is their trick. That your see, it was redacted, all these names, and this is whatever's redacted. They're hiding something. And this is how stupid these people are. They don't understand. It's because they have no understanding and no regard for the law.
Yeah.
That you have to redact certain things. Remember Dragnet? The names have been altered to protect the innocent.
Yes.
You know, and so and they're trying to protect certain innocent people. They'll redact, but these idiots over here will say, see, I told you they're hiding something. They won't release the whole file. What do you have to hide? You know, that kind of stupid stuff. And the funny thing is, so far, the implication, what they have released and will release, who does it implicate? A bunch of Democrats. But they won't be satisfied until Trump's name shows up somewhere in there, which is so. I'm not
worried at all.
Oh no, I'm not. No, I'm not either. I just laugh at the stupidity of these people and the fact that they won't quit, and really at the stupidity of those who are buying this stuff, which we can get into something really important here. Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's now resigned. You heard. Yeah.
Well, she's
in January.
Yeah, planning to resign.
Right. In January. I mean, might as well. She's resigned, and so we've got a situation. I'll just read this real quick. President Donald Trump once again called Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene a traitor. Okay. Marjorie Taylor. Oh, is her last name? Her name's not Brown, is it? What is it? You call her Marjorie Trader Brown. Is her married name Brown?
She went through a divorce 2 years ago.
Okay, so maybe. Well, he called her Marjorie Trader Brown. So
MTG is what I always call her. Probably always will.
Right. Because of plummeting poll numbers, and not wanting to, my eyes are getting worse all the time. Let me blow this up a little more. Not wanting to face a primary challenger with a strong Trump endorsement, where she said she would have no chance of winning, and she's declined to call it quits. I'm sorry, she's decided to call it quits. So basically what's happened, there's a challenger coming up for her reelection next year. And there's that challenger has been endorsed by Donald Trump. And so because of that, she's bowing out now. And the real issue is, again, she's started doing things that are hurting Trump, or could be, and
to somebody who said, I don't need this. I mean, she came from a very lucrative, she owned a construction company, and she's probably making more money doing that. You know? Well,
I don't know, because if she's like certain other members of Congress that started with a couple of million, and now that's quadrupled. So
I don't know what's happened there. I'm just saying she had a very lucrative career, and it was part of her resume that got her elected.
Yeah.
You know,
it's truly a sad thing. And again, what ticks me off is that the Democrats pushing this Epstein narrative and making it has created this division and this problem. Well, and that's what's really doing this, because she came out and she wants everything released, and she's attacking, and Trump just said, you're not a ball player.
I'm just.
What do you think? Well, let's give us your full account.
It's the thing I am the least happy about Donald Trump in general is he's making enemies that are not his enemies. Thomas Massey, one of the most principled men I know in Congress. And no. He gets so caught up in the strategy of getting this next thing checked off,
right,
that he goes after people that are not his enemy, but he's making them his enemy.
Right. That's true. But I think he's frustrated.
Sure.
Because, like you said, he's busy focused on this agenda over here. And honest, I have to agree with him to an extent, because what we're doing, we're falling for the Democrats' ploy. So let's twist it around, okay? When Biden was there and the Republicans were attacking him on Ukraine, on the Biden payoffs that we're getting, you didn't have any Democrats saying, we need to go ahead and have hearings on this. We need to go ahead and do this.
To their shame.
Well, maybe, but they didn't. They were loyal because they saw their agenda bigger than nailing these people on this particular thing right now.
Just because they drink the Kool-Aid doesn't mean we should.
No, but what I'm saying is, here we are with a much larger agenda that affects the nation, and they're supporting this, which is putting brakes on the things that Trump wants to do.
Sure. There were things nearly a quarter century ago, 9/11, led Congress to do things that now in hindsight were some of the worst things
Patriot Act.
Liberty. Yeah. Right. Patriot Act, which include the FISA courts, which were used to try to destroy Trump.
Right.
Okay. And there's still people, there's still Republicans justifying things like that. But at the time, there were the voices of the Rand Pauls and different people, Ron Paul and others, said, you guys will loathe the day that you gave government this much power. What's pragmatic isn't always what's principled. You know, and sometimes you need that guy saying, don't forget your principles here. And I think those are some of the people who are the most long-term thinkers instead of the short-term gain.
Right. Now, however, the Epstein matter is not one of those things, in my opinion, because let the judiciary handle that. Let the judicial department deal with that. Don't be throwing this in and making it a big deal, because what happens, the media picks up Thomas Massey opposes the president on this. Marjorie Taylor Greene opposes the president on this. Even Republicans doubt the president on his, and all it does is throw shade on there. And instead of being focused, here's what's so funny, okay, and this leads me to another thing. John Fetterman, the guy we all feared and did not want on to win.
Oh yeah,
he's the opposite. He's become almost the most loyal subject or fan of the president or
rational.
His policy. Yeah, I know. No, that is the truth.
It's just rational,
right? And he just he's rejecting. We'll move into another area real quick. The Democrats still want to pack the court, the Supreme Court. They want to increase the number of, because they feel they can get more people in there. Well, the problem is if it happens before 2028, then what's going to happen? Trump is going to appoint, let's say it's 16. Trump can appoint, 7 more justices if he wants. So, or 12, whatever it is that they want, which would be 3 more. But Fetterman is saying no. He's standing up and saying no to the calls to pack the Supreme Court. And it's interesting that John Fetterman has become the most loyal supporter of Trump, not Trump, but Trump policies, more so than these other. And see, I think Thomas Massey is a principled guy and all, but sometimes we can make principle our God, and we're not doing the smart thing. Well, what Jesus talked about, being wise as serpents and harmless as doves. Okay.
Yeah.
You've got to be smart sometimes. You're not surrendering any of your morals, etc. Because here's the deal. If the Democrats really had something and they want, let them find it, let them prove it. Then, but I'm not going to sit and take away attention from what we're focused on bringing this country to, just so they can get the president.
Right.
That's my whole issue on the deal.
Yeah. And by the way, just on calling out your own, I am proud that the Republicans in Congress are more likely to call out their own where they need to than you'll see happen with the Democrats. Right now, a perfect example is this new freshman legislator, our Congressman Corey Mills, Florida. Turns out he's a lecher. Evidently, he was somebody that our own Mark Wayne Mullen was working with on rescuing people from Afghanistan. Well, one of the planes, because again, Corey Mills was a decorated fighter. Okay. And he was one of those kind of SWAT team members that would go in, snatch somebody that needed to get them out of the country before the Taliban could catch them. But they got their plane rerouted to Tbilisi, Georgia. And he's hiring hookers for sexual favors 3 nights in a row. Finally, the rest of the team.
Hookers from the plane that came over?
No, hookers at the hotel in Tbilisi.
Oh, overseas.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you were in Georgia now.
And evidently, he and Congresswoman Nancy Mace, who's a rape victim,
right?
Evidently
got into it a little bit.
Yeah. So anyway, but this is a family show, so I won't get into all of it.
Yeah.
But there are some.
Wait a minute. Could this just be innuendo?
No, I tell you,
I'm taking a Biden position.
Yeah, this is. If there needs to be a primary, it's that Florida congressional district needs a primary.
Yeah. No, listen. I'm not saying it's like, what's our guy in New York that they did kick out?
Sanchez.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And, it's another one of those deals. See, Republicans do that. I mean, and that's the thing. If there's really there, Republicans will do it. Democrats will never do that. They will never get rid of anybody. What's the name from New Jersey? Remember the congressman from New Jersey? Had illegal gold. Menendez, yeah.
Senator, U.S. Senator.
Senator. I'm sorry. Yeah, Menendez. You've had several people. Mm-hmm. What's the name? The guy from Connecticut. We know he's a liar.
Oh, the Vietnam vet.
Yes,
yes.
We know he's a liar and stuff. Yeah. But nevertheless, it's nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. That's what gets me. That they have the gall to be able to attack these Republicans in these different areas when Clinton. Everything's excused, overlooked, forget it.
Yeah.
Let's focus on that. But then when it comes to Republicans, and the reason that Democrats do that is because they know that there's Republicans that will join them, and we're victims of our own demise. We are or perpetrators of our own demise because our own devices, let's say, that we are so ready to eat our own.
Yeah.
Whereas Democrats won't do that.
Yeah.
And instead of, let's say in Sanchez's case, if the Republicans had said, okay, we know he's bad, but we want to let the people of his district decide.
Yeah.
We're going to have them vote. And then, because instead of us feeling self-righteous and all good, we're going to do the job and just kick this person out and this one. Instead of letting, and we're the main ones who are always talking about, we represent the people, let the people decide. But then what do? We decide.
Yeah.
Instead of letting the people decide. So these are the things that kind of irk me about our party.
Eddie, you know what? I think given a couple of issues, I think you need to reach out to Robert Airy, with Hearn's office. If we can't get Kevin Hearn in here, I think since Robert's doing his own podcast.
Well, that's what I was saying. Is he still working with Hearn?
He is.
Oh, he is. Okay.
Is
with that podcast? I didn't know he's
someone to discuss. Number one is this issue of what were their options with Sanchez, because what I would have said is, look, you want to keep in here, you get on that microphone in the next hour in front of the press and say, I will not be seeking another term. I want you to know that now.
Right.
And I will help the Republican Party in the congressional reelection campaign find a good candidate to represent the good people of the district. And because what did we do? We kicked him out and gave the Democrats the seat, because this was a big accomplishment. That area of Queens and a little bit of Brooklyn that he served, that was a big coup getting that seat. So I think you did, if you had offered him something like that, especially when you only got a 2-vote margin.
Yeah.
The second thing I wanted to hear from Hearn on is how we ended the government shutdown. And I say this because when Trump late at night signed it and reopened, he turned and he shook, standing right next to him at the Oval Office, Kevin Hearn, amongst several others.
Yeah.
Tom Cole was there, several others, Johnson stuff. But Hearn is a budget guy. He is among the best in the budget. And I'd like to hear how that happened. So I know you're tight with Robert. You knew him from his college basketball days and at ORU and stuff. Little guy who could dribble.
The white boy.
Yeah, the white boy could.
The white boy on the ORU team. It was easy to point him out.
Yeah. But anyway, if we can't get Kevin in, and Kevin's always been trying, he says, somehow we can make it work. Their weekend time is so precious. I hate to pull them away. But anyway, whatever we can do.
OU 17-6 now. OU's up 17-6. So having this should really help them in the polls. This should, because Missouri is 22 in the nation, so that'll help them. A&M. Oh, see, this is what I hate about the SEC. This is where we clear our palate right here when we go into sports in the middle of these heavy situations. The SEC, somewhere in there, towards the end of the season, before the big games. They play a nobody. So Texas A&M today is playing Samford. And what will that do? That will ensure they stay at number 3 in the nation, right?
And it shouldn't. And we're going to get into this new polling.
Right. Okay. Well,
now, you didn't say Stanford.
No, I
said Samford.
Samford.
Big difference.
Samford. Yes. Samford is, I think it's in either northern Florida or South Carolina, because one of Michael's son, soccer player friends, went there. Then Ohio State, of course, is playing Rutgers, which Rutgers is a Big Ten school. It's 21-3. See, the Big Ten, I respect. The Big 12, even the ACC, but the SEC does this every year. Their big teams will play some nobody. So anyway, SMU is leading Louisville 21-6. Virginia Tech is losing to Miami 27-10. Harvard and Yale is beating Harvard. Georgia, okay, here you go. Georgia, okay, playing that powerhouse from Charlotte. Not North Carolina or the teams, the UNC Charlotte or NC State, but they're playing Charlotte.
Which is in the American, right? Along with TU?
I don't think Charlotte's even in the American.
Okay.
I don't even think they're in the one of the big, what do you call them, the BCS schools. And then Washington State. Excuse me. Washington State is playing James Madison.
Yeah.
And they're tied.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Arizona and Baylor are tied. Arkansas.
Yeah, Charlotte is in the American, which is Rice, Wichita State, Temple, East Carolina, Tulsa, Tulane.
Oh, so Charlotte is in that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
They jumped up. Then they've taken a lot of people into that conference, haven't they? Oh, and then Arkansas plays Texas, so that's a gimme for Texas there. So anyway, those are some of the scores. Like I said, a lot of the bigger ones aren't playing today, or the ones that are important to us. To me anyway. Playing next week.
Samford's in what's called the Southern Conference.
The Southern, okay.
I'd never heard of them. Along with McNeese State.
McNeese.
Texas A&M CC, which is probably Corpus Christi's branch, and Nickel State, and some others. So yeah, they're gee whiz, what are they doing? But they are Division I.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, is FCS is what they said.
No, then they're not, because FBS. Is the FBS.
So see, they aren't even playing in the major leagues today.
And it's 41-0. That's something I want to say about Texas Tech. We'll go up on somebody 40 points, right? Yeah. And what do? They pull their whole first team out. Mm-hmm. In fact, the last game we played, I can't remember who it was, but anyway, we were up like 38 points, 38. In the first half. So what they did, they already put their second team in the first half.
Yeah.
And they played the rest of the game. So he just will not do that. He doesn't play that game like Leach did or Stoops did or some of those that would, get 66, 70 points against their opponents. He just won't do it. But in a way, it keeps him, from risking injury too. That could be the deal there. But anyway, A&M is going to run away with this. They just went into the fourth quarter and it's 41-0 against Samford.
Now, according to Google AI, they're saying this is the last regular week for most teams in their conference schedules. But I don't think that's true of the Big 12.
No.
Next week is.
Yeah, we've got byes this week. So Tech next week plays West Virginia. Tech is not playing today, and there's a couple others that aren't playing today.
Yeah. Well, it just says here, for the week of November 22nd, no FBS teams have their regular bye week this week. So if they did, they just scheduled somebody like a Samford. So
like I said, they still don't have a game.
and I almost guarantee you it's a home game for them.
Oh yeah. The other school comes. Well, no, I think let me just.
That's a revenue thing.
Oh no, it is. But I'm just trying. Yeah, you're right. It's at A&M. They're playing Samford at home.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is,
Samford and Son.
And this was true when I was with the NOAA program. We would have people on the schedule. And they would offer us money to let them have the home game.
Right.
Because it's a big revenue in high school football.
Yeah, and whip you at home.
But you know what? It paid our bills.
Sure. No. And that's what these schools do, It's a nice payday.
Yeah.
So anyway, that keeps you up to date on that.
All right. Yeah, I want to talk about polling.
Okay.
So ESPN just announced, there's this new computer polling, and it's different from some of the computer polling we've seen in the past. The major weakness of a computer polling, as we've seen it in the past, this would include the Freeman scoring that Max Preps has, the RPI, I think it's what they called it in basketball and stuff, is they treat every game with the same weight on where they position somebody. So if you had a loss 2 months ago because 3 of your starters had mono or whatever, and they're saying, they're treating it as though it happened last week, no difference. That's a problem. A sports writer, to his credit, when he's allowed, like the AP poll, right, is they look at where their team is at today, now.
Right.
And that is their strength. They have other biases, and they usually don't favor the Midwest teams. But this one claims that it's kind of moving forward where they see you trending, or some coach say, are you peaking? That. And according to this trending poll, of course, the same Ohio State's leading this one, followed by Indiana, followed by some West Texas team.
Runs up.
Texas Tech is number 3 in this one. And then they throw Oregon as number 4. Do you think that's right?
No, I don't.
Okay.
But I'm not a computer, so the computer must know something that I don't.
But see, this computer's Catholic because they put Notre Dame in
number
the top 5. Yeah.
Oh my God! Yeah. See, okay. See now you just ruined everything. Who's number? Where's OU?
Okay. Yes, and OU kind of drops down because the next 5 are Georgia, Ole Miss, Utah, number 8. Okay. And then Texas A&M's 9, Miami 10. Now, from 11 to 15, you've got Alabama ahead of Oklahoma, 11 and 12. And then you've got USC, which you have some sympathy for, Lincoln Riley's team, and then Tennessee and Iowa. So Missouri 16. Now they're ranked in the AP 22 today, taking on OU, and OU seems to be beating them.
Yeah, handling,
Yeah. So you got Missouri, then BYU, who beat Utah, yet Utah is, number 8 and BYU 17. Go figure.
That seems a little weird.
Yeah.
And not just the fact that Utah's ahead, maybe Utah is trending and moving up, and also, see, a part of it is I think that Utah's quarterback was injured in the earlier game.
See, that's
right.
That's a good point.
But to me, the difference of 9 points or nine slots.
Number 8 and number 17. Yeah, 9 points.
So you've got 9 slots difference. That's a little large, I think.
Yeah. So, and then, after that, you've got BYU, then Vanderbilt, Penn State 19, who just fired their coach, right? And Washington 20. Texas is 21.
Wow.
Now you're getting into the 3-loss teams. Missouri, Iowa has 4 losses, and yet they're number 15. That's kind of interesting. But Texas is at 21, followed by Michigan, then Illinois, then North Texas.
That's weird. See, I think Texas is too low. I have no love for Texas, trust me, but I think that's too low.
They spanked OU. They really did.
Well, they've spanked a whole lot of people. But Texas has, 2 losses?
Didn't they lose to Ohio to start the year?
Right, Ohio State.
Start the season.
And then I think, they have 3 losses now because I think Georgia just beat them.
Yeah. Those are all serious opponents.
Yeah, I mean, if you take strength of schedule, the 3 losses to Texas probably beat out the, 1 loss from Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
If you're really taking the schedule into
the old RPI index, which is a computer index that they used to pick the NCAA basketball tournament, the big dance. That followed what I'm talking about, where they don't differentiate an early season loss from a recent loss. Right. This kind of goes the other way. It says, let's follow trends. I'll remember this. The Springfield, Missouri homeschool team was one of the best for a while when I was running the Homeschool Football Federation. And they were playing Dallas here in Broken Arrow. They met halfway. So, of course, I go to the game. And Springfield's beating them by 16. And I'm not on the field. I'm behind the stands, but a lot of the coaches, saw me and are talking to me. And the head coach starts subbing guys in. And I said, unless you beat them make the spread, which said the computer says you should beat them by 22, you're going to go down in your ranking. Mm-hmm. And the head coach hears me that. And in the middle of the game, he turns around and says, there's just no pleasing you, is there? You know, as though I wrote it. And I said, I'm just telling you what it says. And but you've got to meet your expectations in a lot of these polls.
Yeah, but yeah, it's true. And they are skewed. There's bias. Mm-hmm. The SEC sports writers are always going to pick Alabama, Georgia, mm-hmm. and Texas nationally. Everybody still has this thing for Texas. Mm-hmm. Texas can almost do no wrong. It took them this long to go down as far as they did with, 3 losses, I think. Alabama, 3 losses. It took them. And look where they are. They're still, number 11, I think you said?
They're still ahead of OU that just beat them 2 weeks ago.
Exactly.
Or was it last week?
Beat Texas?
No, OU in Alabama.
Oh, yeah, that was last week. Yeah.
Last week.
Yeah, and so you know, that sports writers. See, I remember when they first.
This is the computer poll. I got to be honest with you.
Right. So when we first went to the BCS, mm-hmm. I don't know if you remember, they had a computer picking the rankings, and the computers were right, and the sports writers got upset that they weren't allowed to be involved. Mm-hmm. And so what did they do? They throw the computers out and go back to letting the sports writers.
Yeah, but you got to add this. It was worse than that. Bob Stoops was their coach at that time, and he's beating up on somebody. And they're like, why are you keeping, your starters in? And he said, for us to get in those top 4 slots, I've got to win by a large margin.
Yeah, sure.
And he says, look, I didn't write these rules, but by God, I'm going to compete by them.
Yeah. And I don't like, even though Texas coach does this, I don't like you pulling your starters.
Yeah.
If that team has the audacity or the will to play you, then they need to be played. They need to be able to play against your best. You don't start throwing a JV team out there, basically. Yeah, but Eddie, that's the way I look at it.
What happens when your quarterback gets his arm broken when his team's up 25 points?
Well, yeah, that's true. But generally, if you're beating a team by 60 points, he's not going to get his arm broken by that team. So I'm just saying.
If you put your third string offensive line in, he will.
Well, yeah, of course, obviously. But he's not going to do that. Okay.
And this is why I say, if you're going to put your third string line in, then by God, don't expect your starting quarterback. No, I agree. Yeah. I'm saying, just leave your guys in there. You don't, and just have an understanding with the other coach. We're paying you so many $1 million, your school $so many $1 million, which we just talked about, to play us. Your school is benefiting, but don't expect us to have pity because, we don't want to beat you too badly. No, we've got to, our team has to, I'll give you a great example. I don't know if it was last year or year before. I think it was last year. Georgia was playing against Florida. Mm-hmm. Florida was well ranked and they were both high. Yet all of the seniors that had a chance to go pro for Florida decided not to play. They decided we're not going to play. Mm-hmm. So Florida throws a second and third string team out there to play Georgia. The Georgia players all said, we're playing the game. Yeah.
All the pro draft.
That was Florida State, right?
No, it's Florida.
Oh, it's Florida.
Florida, yeah.
Somebody thought it was Florida State.
No. Okay. And so, you know what? Maybe it was Florida State. I'm trying to picture
Pretty
the
sure
coaches.
It was.
I think you're right. I think it was Florida State. Yeah. Anyway, and I remember the coach from Georgia saying that it's a shame that these players don't have enough pride in their school to do it. And this is almost unfair for us to play this team. But he said, but it would be unfair to keep our kids from being able to play and play to their fullest extent. So he had compassion for that coach. He said, I feel bad for that coach that can't get his players to play. but I feel bad as well for the team that is playing, getting their butt whipped by my first team, So that's what we've come to. And you know whose fault that is? It's the agents. It's the agents that are telling these kids, don't play because your draft stock may drop.
Here's an important change. And Eddie, I think schools need to jump in on this. Those were the days you're referring to before NIL money.
Right.
They were playing basically for
a big contract.
Well, but they weren't getting enumerated for playing in that Senior Bowl game.
No.
Okay.
I agree. No, exactly.
Now you can structure it as part of their contract that they're going to forfeit a certain amount of that NIL if they don't.
That's a good point.
Thank you. I thought of that all by myself, Eddie.
Well, you write it down and send it to the college.
Yeah. Because I think you do that.
Yep.
Or at least require a waiver if they're going to let them out or something.
Yeah.
But look, if I was a kid, I'm having to come up with my own laundry money because I'm not getting paid to go to school. I mean, Barry Switzer felt like they should at least have a stipend so they aren't washing their laundry in the bathroom sink.
Oh, I agree. No, yeah,
sure. But now we've gone this route.
But at the same time, Dave, see what? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know my volume was on. Anyway, what I wanted to say though is that what I have a hard time with is the student athlete being treated differently from the other students. Okay. Mm-hmm. I'm talking in the past. Okay.
Yeah.
So the old ineligibility rule, if you don't maintain a 2-point or better, and if you can't, then it's really bad because they assign tutors. You get a private tutor. When I was a freshman, I remember our team, they had study hall for the players. And, you could, what do you need help with? Is it biology, math, whatever? And you had tutors helping you pass so you could stay eligible. Well, so you talk about these poor kids not being, what about the poor kids that are doing everything, working to have to go to school, to pay for their schooling and so forth? And so it's always going to be an inequitable situation that somebody is getting over on others.
Right.
And that's the sad thing about it, that you got poor kids that a lot of them won't even go to college that could probably really contribute academically later on, but they just can't afford to go to those schools like that. And yet you got these football players, basketball players, whatever, that are getting a full ride and now making a bunch of money at it as well. So I really, it's just a mixed, I'm the one, I predicted it back in the 90s when TU basically stole self from ORU. And 2 weeks earlier, they forbade these two players.
Tim Gill
and Rocky.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Bill Self was worse than Tim Gill, but yet he made Tim Gill humiliate himself and apologize.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just disgusting.
2 weeks. 2 weeks later, as soon as they relented, Nolan Richardson finally did, because he wanted him to go to Arkansas. He was going to go to Arkansas. And Nolan Richardson said, guys, you can't win. You might as well just play it out. And sure enough, you know what happened the next year? His senior year, Tim injured his ankle and never recovered and never went pro because of it. And it's and Bill Self, we know the history now, what happened to him at TU, KU, And
it was our sports media that was so brutal. And I told you before, I'll say it again. It's because Tim wanted to leave our plantation.
Right. Exactly. How dare him? It's the same thing I just got into with a guy this morning, an OU fan, of course, but about the situation with Caleb Williams and what was the coach? Lincoln Riley. How the OU fans and everybody so griped and moaned and complained, and they hate Lincoln Riley and Caleb Williams because how dare they leave OU when OU leaves the Big 12 to go to the SEC, so left the whole Big 12. And out of the last, 6 quarterbacks, 4 of them they got from other schools.
That's
from
true.
Baker Mayfield.
Oh, don't talk about that, Eddie. Well, and Dylan Gabriel did the same thing that Caleb Williams did a year later.
Exactly.
Took the money, went to Oregon.
Right. And what happens? He's been savaged and he's an enemy of the state now.
Right. But he was a finalist for the Heisman.
Well, no, I understand. But what I'm saying, and he's an NFL pro now, too. So it's just one of these things. I don't mind you doing it, but don't gripe when somebody else does it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the hypocrisy that it's okay for Kyler Murray, Baker Mayfield, what's his name, who's with the Eagles now, the quarterback, Jalen, and then there's another one, even the new quarterback they have now.
Yeah,
it's okay for them to jump ship and come to us, but how dare anybody else do the same to us? That's the only thing that I have an issue with.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of that, Dylan's out. At least for now, Shedeur Sanders gets his first start. Now, he came in last week. It was horrible, but he had no time, didn't get to work with the receivers and stuff. Right. So, let's just see what he does tomorrow.
Yeah. The other deal is New Orleans. Spencer Rattler, they replaced him with Shuck.
Now, he's one that we benched. Right. And then,
in fact, Caleb Williams is the one who...
Yeah, South Carolina picked him up. He did fine there.
Yeah.
And then, New Orleans, and he secured a starting spot.
Yeah.
So,
sometimes it works out. In fact, Tyler Shuck, who's replacing Spencer Rattler in New Orleans now, he went from Oregon. He was the starter at Oregon. And then, what's his name, came in?
Dylan?
No. This is a couple of years ago.
Oh, okay.
What is it? Who's the... L.A. Chargers quarterback.
Oh, Herbert.
Herbert came in and replaced him.
Oh, okay.
So he went to Texas Tech. He got injured twice. Then he transfers to Louisville, has a great season in Louisville, gets drafted in the 3rd round, which is funny to me. And now he's the new starter over Rattler at New Orleans. So it's funny how you never know. In fact, Brady, remember, was Mr. Insignificant.
Okay.
When he got drafted, he was like,
oh, yeah.
Remember out of Michigan, he was like second. I think he was a second stringer.
He was in high school and he was at college.
He was second stringer in high school?
Yes.
Too? That's funny.
Yes. Yeah. And then it was.
That's
who
amazing.
was the guy that got injured? I don't think it was Bledsoe. Could have been Bledsoe. That got injured.
At the Patriots, yeah.
Yeah, that ended up giving him that first starting spot.
And never got it back.
And, how many people have never been discovered because they never got a chance?
Right.
And that's why I'm not criticizing the football coaches at, say, Union, Broken Arrow, and the rest of them on that. But your real trophies, I'm speaking to your school boards, your real trophies are not in a glass case. They are living, breathing, young athletes who would like to further. But unless you give them an opportunity, the colleges aren't going to see them.
Right.
And this is why having a massive high school like Broken Arrow, second largest in the nation, you can still only put 11 athletes on a football field at any one time.
They need you need a second high school in Broken Arrow.
Third.
If not, I was going to
third. They could do 3 because they have 3 campuses.
At least have 2.
Yeah, Eddie, they could do 3 because they have the original campus. They have Broken Arrow South Intermediate campus with a very nice football field. Noah used it and still uses it as their home football field. And get this, all 3 of them would still be Division 6A2, the biggest schools. That's how big they are.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. They really need to move at least to 2, if not 3.
Yeah.
They should move to 2 with the preparation to go to 3.
I agree.
Because it's just ridiculous.
Because your real trophy are your kids.
Yeah, and you don't get to develop the other kids.
Exactly.
Because I'll tell you what happens, and this is the key between really successful coaches and those that aren't as successful. The really successful coach, coaches tend to get lazy, some of them.
Mm-hmm.
And so they'll see a kid the freshman year or even when they're playing in middle school football. Oh, that's a great kid. He's going to be good. So instantly that kid's already taken a position, on the varsity, where you got some kid over there who's a late bloomer.
Mm-hmm.
And the really good coaches will develop the late. And in fact, somebody once said, the really strong teams are the ones who strengthen their weakest link.
Yep.
And once you are able to successfully strengthen your weakest link, that's when you become really successful, because your stars are always going to be your stars.
Yep.
But it's that supporting. And see, this is one of the things I think that helps Texas Tech, has helped them come to where they are now. 2 years ago, they went into the thing of they pay every player. If you sit the bench, no matter what, if you're on the team, you get $100,000 NIL.
Yep.
Can you imagine? And then the special ones still get their NIL money, the bigger money.
Eddie, if I'm a good quarterback and I'm entering the transfer portal, an offensive line like Texas Tech, God, I'd love to have those guys.
And they're just getting started. I mean, with the way they are now they're finally getting some respect and the money. You watch, they can start stealing players from all over the country.
Yeah.
And I'm the one who was against NIL, but I predicted it way back on the Tim Gill deal. I wrote an article to the Tulsa World back in 1998 saying the day was coming, and the day is here now.
It is.
Where the player
You've even
wins.
hinted at high school NIL.
Well, I don't think I didn't like NIL then. I don't like it today.
Right.
And I especially don't like it for high school.
Yeah.
But see, here in high school, for example, basketball.
Yeah.
All of the good players don't play high school ball anymore. They play
club.
Yeah, what is it called?
AAU.
AAU basketball, where they play year round. That's all they do. They play, and they travel. They have tournaments, and all your top players play AAU, and then they'll get a scholarship somewhere. Oh, another thing. Boy, we've really gone in sports today. There's a thing in Florida. It's called IMG Academy. Okay, IMG is owned by his name is Anschutz, and I can't remember his first name. Anyway, he's a billionaire, and he's the one that owns the LA Lakers and the Forum IMG Stadium in LA, and they've started their own academy. And so anyway, IMG, in fact, there's somebody from Tulsa that went there recently, and it's a boarding school, but it's only for athletes. Well, and they're allowed to play in high school sports, IMG. And if you look at the high school rankings, so the IMG is always number one or number two. Well, it'd be great when you can get the best players in the country already coming there and their scholarship to come there. I mean, and then you have these rules locally on transfer and this and that. We're in a whole new world. We basically, we have developed a farm league for high school now. Yeah.
No, I heard a premier high school athlete insulting another player, saying he probably still buys his own sneakers because most of them get free sneakers.
Yeah. He probably bought his own sneakers.
Because, listen, when all these pictures are showing up of you, those athletic sneaker companies want to make sure that swoosh is on your foot.
Yeah. Or the three stripes.
Yeah. Or the circles or whatever. Yeah. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. Why do you think Nike has put so much money into Oregon athletics? It just is. And hey, they have the coolest uniforms. I mean, that's kind of
as my mom used to say, Those are so ugly. And some of them are ugly. I mean, I've seen the yellow ones.
But everybody's emulating Oregon now.
Oh.
Every home game, it's a different uniform.
Did you see Houston the other night, on Thursday night? They had these.
Oh, red.
Red.
Yes, and I mean rich red.
And the shining red helmets.
Yeah, my wife even commented on those helmets.
I was just, no. Go back. It was too much. They won, though. They beat Buffalo.
They did.
You know why? Because Buffalo couldn't get over those uniforms. It was the Buffaloes. I'm saying, we can't look. I'm not looking. And the receivers are catching the ball.
All season long. Listen, my fantasy lineup, I started the season with Texans, and I wish I would have hung on to them. They're the best defense.
What they have been. They have been.
But no, it's just, and here's the other thing, Eddie. The official licensed merchandise. Now you got the collectors. They got to get all 8 of the home jerseys for that season because they're always different.
Yeah.
And the collectors are into, and it's another revenue stream for the team owners.
Yeah.
So,
hey, I think Georgia is going to drop a couple of spots.
What happened?
Because they're only winning 35-3.
Oh, yeah.
In the third quarter. Shame on them. What's wrong with Georgia? And then you've got A&M 48-0 over Samford still.
Yeah.
Yale is killing Harvard.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
By the way, the projections for the football playoffs, it's going to be 12 teams this year. And right now it appears that OU is kind of on the bubble, likely in, whereas Alabama on the bubble, likely out. And for the Big 12, everybody says, yeah, Tech is in. They would have to destroy themselves to not be in.
If they lose one more game, the West Virginia game next week is going to be the big one. Yeah. Now, in the play, if they win that and win it handily and stay in the top 5 or 6, even if they lose in the playoffs against BYU or Utah, it wouldn't make much of a difference because then it would just put both of them in because they would only have 2 losses. So.
I'm trying to find out which of the conferences are still doing a championship game.
The SEC, Big 10, Big 12, and the ACC.
Okay, so everybody's still doing that game.
They're still.
And it's still very significant.
Yeah, it's very significant.
So, because right now the projections I saw show BYU lowly ranked, but still in.
Yeah, they're still in.
And then, of course,
if they went out and Utah were to lose another one, and even if Tech were to lose another one, Utah and Tech would be tied.
But I don't see right now the Big 12 having 3 berths.
No.
Because it's not a great year for the Big 12.
Yeah, right. That's true. Some of the lower also-rans aren't doing as well.
And, there's a few divisions that are guaranteed one, like the American. Should they have an automatic berth? It's tough because if you let them have their automatic berth, then you've got,
to kick somebody else out.
Yeah. Then, now you say, well, does Tennessee that beat Oklahoma not get in? It's a funny deal.
It is. I think they should have stuck with the computer.
We missed something. Eddie.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, this is going way back in thing, but we got to talk about it.
Okay.
The Obamacare subsidies.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Sorry, everybody. I hope people are still listening and watching.
The subsidies are on paper set to expire.
Right. Do
you really think we're going to go through next year with no health care subsidies for people?
Well, okay, no, here's what's happening, okay, and this is the way that Obama did it, and it happened in Oklahoma as well, and I was fighting against it then. So basically what the federal government was initially, they offered, they will subsidize it for 90%.
Yeah.
So it's
at the start, it was 92%.
Or 92, okay.
Right.
And what they did though is, so they said this, and it will expire. in 2026.
And it was supposed to have been phasing out all along these last 10 years, right?
No, they just somehow did it till 2026.
Oh, God.
I know. And
That's a
so
cliff.
it's like the aunt and the who works, and Joseph basically storing up for the future when the lean years come. A lot of states didn't do that. They said, "Oh, we're just doing it. We'll worry about it. We'll extend it.
Of course,
we'll
because
extend it."
It was the Affordable Care Act, so it'll be so cheap by then we won't need to.
Thank you. Exactly. That's exactly what. And they were thinking, oh yeah, even though they'd been warned, they knew that this was phasing out.
And have they rates become cheaper?
No, they've become even more expensive.
Way
in
more.
spite of the subsidies.
Way more.
But the problem is it's unsustainable.
Yes.
Just like Medicare.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The Medicare Advantage plan had all these free dental, $1,700, $2,000, $5,000 subsidies in it, or additional add-ons and all of this and this and this, And so now all of a sudden this year, the drug plans have a deductible. Anywhere from $200 to $600.
Are you speaking Medicare?
Medicare, now.
Which is the retired folks over 65,
right?
Not the Medicaid,
no,
which is the welfare funding,
right. This is Medicare, and so you've got that aspect, and then, like I said, everything has just basically they've taken away a lot of things people have gotten used to, and what happens is once people get used to something and you try to take it away, they don't take too kindly to it.
Okay.
And you've got some companies that are gambling and saying, well, we're going to leave it lower, this or this. And what's going to happen then, those companies are going to get a bunch of influx, but they're going to lose their shirts.
Yeah.
And so next year, then all of a sudden their rates are going to skyrocket. The carrot, and they're just going to hope that people don't change, that they're used to it or whatever.
So there's some things you don't make up for in volume.
Right. No, exactly. No, you can't. You can't, because the government only pays a set amount to every company. If they pay you the same,
and
to make it work.
They have to take out off the top their own operating expenses and all their commissions and all.
Right. That's the first part of it, and it's just a mess. But as far as the Affordable Care Act, it's one of those things that never should have happened the way it was.
But technically, the Affordable Care Act should not have impacted Medicare.
No, and it didn't. No, it didn't. Those are two different things. But I'm just saying that from the beginning, the whole theory was flawed. And what's so crazy, our insurance commissioner today, he was in the state Senate, and he was one that was fighting for it, and I was fighting.
That was Glenn Mulready.
I opposed it. I remember David Brumbaugh, former state rep, my best friend. He would set up these lunches, and we'd go to McAllister's or somewhere. We're sitting there, and for 2 hours, Mulready and I are arguing about why the exchanges were not a good idea. And
Mulready was.
Me and Mulready were arguing with each other, right, about this. And I would say he probably still today thinks they're a good idea. I don't know. I haven't heard him ever change his mind. But I could see, almost anybody could see what was coming down the road. It's unsustainable. And
Mr. Glenn Mulready, and you and I are friends with him. He's a very friendly,
we used to go to church together.
He's incredibly pragmatic, in my opinion. I don't hear him talking principle as much as what's workable.
Yeah, but the one thing, I'm not a fan of our Attorney General, generally. Yeah. And I don't support him in the reelection. But the one thing I do agree with him on is that he feels the state insurance, and this is one of the issues that he's going to deal with. He feels the state insurance department has let these carriers raise the rates too much.
Is this the benefits managers or no, the actual insurance underwriters?
Right. Right. See, Oklahoma, our rates are the third highest in the nation.
The United Healthcare, Blue Cross.
No, we're talking.
Care.
No, I'm not even talking. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about State Farm, Farmers, Auto, and Home.
Okay, yeah. Okay, now you're speaking different.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm just insurance in general. The Medicare is run nationally.
Yeah.
Everything else is in the state to some extent. That's why you do have different rates. But as far as auto homeowners rates, Oklahoma has the third highest rates in the country. And yes, to an extent, because we only have 32 million. I'm sorry. We only have
about 4 million.
Yeah, about 4 million, between 4 and 6. And then you have Texas with 32 million.
Yeah.
Okay. So the risk is shared with a whole lot more people in Texas than it is in Oklahoma.
And you got a lot more interest in that Texas market than you do here.
Well, no, but it's all basically on shared risk. It's all shared risk. Okay. And so Texas has more people, but Texas also has a number of perils that we don't have.
Yeah.
Hurricanes.
Oh, yeah.
Hurricanes. Our big thing is tornadoes. Texas has tornadoes and hurricanes.
Yes, they do.
And
floods, we found out recently.
Yeah, but Texas is lower than Oklahoma.
Oh, yeah.
So the number 1 is Florida. Number 2 is Louisiana. And number 3 is us in the whole country. And so I can understand rates do need to be a bit higher, but they've gotten to the point where it's almost out of control. Someone needs to do something, and you can't just, as insurance commissioners, say, all right, yeah, go ahead. Well, because people can't afford it.
Just the other day, I was, you picked me to lead a subcommittee for a committee you're chairing, and I had a fellow there, Jeremy Moore, from Washington State. He said, moving down here, my auto insurance went way up.
Yep.
You'd think some liberal, high cost state like Washington State would be more. And I said, no, this is the problem with us going sometimes in excess to the right politically, where we think, corporations can do no wrong.
Right.
And we're too corporate friendly at times.
Yeah. And one of the problems, too, is we have an exorbitant amount of uninsured. And so the uninsured on auto,
that's a big part,
causes the insured to pay more for the losses.
So then here's the other thing, is when you have this kind of thing where people are, for instance, our state, we have an elected official, our insurance commissioner, who is likely to buy that office, who has money invested in funding a candidate. It's going to be the insurance company. Right. If it was a bureaucratic part of a governor's administration, I don't think it's more likely to be influenced and bought. It's the same way back in 94, Brenda Renault won for labor commissioner. First time we had a Republican labor commissioner. And she spoke to a bunch of us, said, the Democrats thought the official term was commissioner of organized labor because it was run by and owned by the unions. And that's why we didn't have right to work. We had compulsory union membership and things like that. So the unions used to buy it. Now the corporations buy it. And I don't think either of them gives us our optimal government oversight.
No, you're right. And it's too bad. And like I said, Glenn's not a bad. He and his wife were my kids' Sunday school teachers. In church.
Nice guy.
Yeah, very nice. But I think business-wise, and I think the difference is this. He worked for an insurance conglomerate.
Yeah.
Okay. A big insurance company. In fact, Governor Keating's twin brother, he worked there.
Okay.
They were on the same company. And they deal out with corporate insurance, health insurance mainly, the health insurance industry. And so they would deal with groups. So when exchanges came in, they benefited because they had all these big groups,
Yeah.
but it really squeezed the independent agents out to where almost no independent agents were involved in selling health insurance anymore. And if you didn't have a group policy, you weren't protected as well as if you're in a group policy.
And those policies had to meet certain federal guidelines or they were an illegal policy.
Right. Well, they're not illegal, but just, they didn't count. And if you didn't have one, you got penalized.
Exactly. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah. And so it's crazy how that, and so that's why Glenn and I would argue, because he was used to being, and he went and followed the Utah model, but then I looked at it, all of the leading agents and agencies selling Obamacare, they were all group plans. So you've got some big corporation with 1,000 employees, you sell that one company, you've got all that, whereas they reduced the commission so badly for independents, it didn't help us to go out and want to sell it. So, and there's other items and issues. But anyway, the Attorney General now for Oklahoma is pushing back on rates. He said, you've allowed the companies to basically set their own rates.
He's pushing back, but he has no
alternative
teeth.
Oh,
legally. He's literally just trying to shame Glenn for not doing a better job.
Yeah, it's a political thing that a lot of people, I mean, you talk about a lot of people have insurance and they're listening and they're saying, he's right, I support you. They don't know. It's just like, what's his name? Who was the insurance commissioner? John Doak.
Yeah.
When John Doak was saying, I'm here standing against Obamacare. Well, he had no jurisdiction, no ability to have any influence, yet he was running on Obamacare in his campaign.
That was yet another reason why you dismissed him. You did not support him. You supported his opponent for Senate.
Back then, You
got in trouble with the Republican Party for it.
Right. Yeah, that is true. Yeah, I forgot.
Toe the line. Come on, Eddie.
I forgot about all that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so, John and I are friends now, but you know me. When
John even supported your campaign.
Exactly. Yeah. Had fundraiser at his home. And listen, we get along. I like John, but that, I call it like I see it. That was just a blatant. It wasn't a lie. It was true. He supported this, this deal and was against that, but he had no influence one way or another. There was nothing in there. And it's kind of like you're telling us now that Gentner Drummond is barking against the rates and he has nothing he can't do.
I know. It's like Gentner. It's like, he doesn't think he has enough enemies, so he has to go find some more,
Well, but no, in that case, on this one, I think he's going to have a lot of allies. That is a great political move for him to oppose the insurance commissioner, because people hate insurance anyway. People, insurance agents are just above skunk catchers or something.
You saw how effective Kevin Stitt was in his first term in reorganizing just our entire structure. Like, I was involved in mental health and the governor has no say. Well, guess what? He got with the Speaker of the House and Senate Pro Temp, and you know what? Now he picks, between he and them, they pick the majority of them.
Right.
Instead of these associations getting to pick them.
But the difference is he can pick the people, whereas the insurance commissioner can't pick people that have the influence on those type of things.
Yeah, what I'm saying is he's right now signaling what might perhaps, under a Gentner Drummond governor's administration, a major reform that he wants to make to state law and structure of government that will get rid of that elected office and turn it into a governor's appointee.
Oh, that's going to be even worse, though.
Could be. But right now, look what he's doing. He's trashing the excesses of the current system.
Which rightfully so. He should do that, but you don't come in and create a bigger problem by making an appointed office, because then you're really in trouble. So what all that needs to happen is the public needs to be better informed. Mm-hmm. They need to ask questions, and they need to push back when something's not right. Yeah, push back. So that's how you do it.
Now we got to wrap up. But Eddie, help out the people here that don't understand. Let's say they're 64 like me, about turn 65, or just turned 65. Why do they got to go talk to an agent like you? And aren't they still going to get Medicaid?
Medicaid or
Medicare?
No. Medicare, you have to apply for.
How do you do it?
With the government. When
I turn 65, is that when? Or can I do it
4 months. 4 months before you become. Mm-hmm. 3 months. 3 months before the month of your birth. Yeah. Okay. You have to go on the Social Security website.
Yeah. Or go into
the office. Yeah.
And wait 3 hours like I had to.
Yeah, if you do it online, it's simpler. But anyway, so you apply for your Medicare card. Mm-hmm. You can apply for your Social Security card and your Medicare card. And when you get your Medicare card, it's going to enroll you. Well, you can enroll in Part A, which is automatic. It costs you nothing. Part B, that's hospital. Mm-hmm. Your doctor's is Part B. Mm-hmm. And so you have to pay, and the government's you can either pay them or they're deducted out of a check. Okay, it's going up again. It's 187 this year. I think it's going up to 2.
Is it a sliding scale or everybody pays?
Well, it is a sliding scale. So up to like $125,000 a year, you pay, I think, right now 187. Next year it's going, I think, to 210 or 212.
Per month?
Per month.
Ooh.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But what happens every year, they give you a COLA, cost of living increase on your Social Security.
Right.
Those who are eligible.
But see, some of us, you talk about applying for Social Security. Really, some people are going to wait till they're 70 or beyond.
Right.
Some people may have filed at 62, 63, 64.
Where they take a decrease.
Right. Yeah. But we're just talking about the Medicare.
Yeah, but they're going to take it out of your Social Security, or you can pay them out of your pocket.
So if you're still working but turn 65, you're going to have to pay them.
Well, unless you decide, if a lot of people working have group insurance, employer sponsored insurance.
Okay.
So your employer is going to pay a bunch of it. And so those people, a lot of them are with rich companies that pay 100% of your insurance.
So if I work for the electric company and I'm going to wait till I'm 70, do I do anything for Medicare?
Nope.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right.
So now they may automatically enroll you in Part A, but Part B is the one. Now the problem is if once you enroll, you don't enroll in Part B and you don't have any other insurance, then for every year that you don't have Part B, when you do sign up for the Medicare, the supplement or Advantage plan, they're going to penalize you. Mm-hmm. And it's pretty ruthless. I mean, I think it's up to like 40 cents a month, maybe 50 cents a month. Mm-hmm. So in a year, it's only $6 a year, but then you wait 2 years, it's 12. I've had people for 15 years decide, you get a lot of people say, well, I don't need it. I'm in good health. Mm-hmm. The problem is, let's see, if you wait till 80, you're going to be paying $200 a month penalty for a plan that would be free to everybody else, or no insurance premium.
Gotcha.
So anyway, the whole thing's rigged, and I'm in that industry and in that business, and I don't like a lot of it myself because I don't have any other solution, but it just seems we should be able to do it a little better. But
right. So Eddie, this, for instance, the component that's used in signing up for this supplement, whatever agency they go to, the agent's going to get the same commission. That's set by federal government, right?
Well, no, it's set by the on the Advantage plan on the supplement. It's different. It's individual.
Okay.
There's a difference. Supplement and Advantage. Those are two totally different.
Thank you. Good. See, plans. And they got to sit down with you to see the numbers, explain all that. But the big thing is, do I go to a website? Do I call an 800 number, or do I have an actual agent that I can sit down at a table with? What's the best way?
Okay, for a supplement, you have to sit down with an agent.
Yeah.
The Advantage plan, you can do it. You can do it online
because you're seeing the TV commercials.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Or if you apply and then they'll have an agent call you and they'll sign you up online. The problem is they can't online give you the full treatment as they would if you're
exactly.
Here's the plan. Here, look at it. I mean, at least that's what I do.
Okay.
To me, I want to be sure people always know the full. And like I'll represent several companies where online may be working for only Humana, United Healthcare, or a couple of the other companies.
Right.
Cigna is one, and Aetna. There's different companies, even more in Oklahoma now.
Okay, when a person calls you up and says, Eddie, can I come meet with you? Mm-hmm. Is it going to cost them a dime to get your help?
No. Mm-mm.
Okay, so you're going to be paid through the federal government.
Well, the insurance company.
Yeah, the insurance companies right. who are, kind of managed. They get paid by the federal government. They pay you.
Right.
And so that's not going to cost them anything.
No.
And who offers the broadest number of options? That some of these are tied to just one provider, right?
Right.
The best is when you have several options.
Well, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of interesting because, it's too complicated to go into here. But you got go to HMO and PPO, and you need to call me for an appointment.
Right. But say, Eddie, if I'm
talking to you, 64 to about to turn 65.
That's true.
Okay.
And I've already said you're the guy, Eddie. But I'm saying, like, your independent insurance agent will have several different companies he can offer you and compare.
Right.
Whereas if they're farmers or they're State Farm or whatever, they're selling that company, period.
Well, no, because those companies don't offer a Medicare plan.
I'm using an analogy of auto insurance.
Right. So most of your Medicare agents always have more than one company.
Gotcha. That's where I'm getting at.
Right. Yeah. So now if you get the guys online that or the telephone calls, then they're going to steer you to a particular one.
More likely.
Yeah.
Some of them maybe absurd. Like, for instance, you've seen, writing health insurance, Select Quote or this, that, where they are big, but they are independent. They offer several different things, whereas State Farm or farmers or that, using the auto or homeowners.
Or life.
Yeah, or life.
See, life insurance, auto, there you have captive agents.
Yeah.
Whereas with Medicare, in health insurance too, you have some that only work for Blue Cross, but then you'll have multi-line agents that can, that represent several companies.
Right. Okay. So, in order to do that, I'm sorry, Eddie. Eddie, truly, as much as I've been hanging out with you for these 5 years.
No, I know. We've never talked about it, but I prefer we do it a lot privately because I think it's time we need to wrap up 2.5 hours.
Absolutely. Okay. Good. So what's the deadline this year for those that do need to do so?
December 7th.
That's the thing. Okay. That's what I wanted to get to last thing.
Okay.
All right. Eddie, I'm trying to help people know that.
I'm a terrible businessman or agent. I just don't really like
You're not a self-promoter, Eddie. I know that.
That's it.
But the thing is, there are procrastinators in the world who've waited too long.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, you need to call somebody and look at it. But the main thing, go through Social Security, and you can do it 3 months before the Birth month.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Hey, thanks everybody. Hope we've given you some news you can use and some that you can lose. But anyway, we hope you have a great weekend. And above all, give thanks this Thursday. Okay. It's Thanksgiving.
That's true.
Exactly. And we hope you will give thanks for your blessings and the country that you live in.
Yeah.
Thank you again for listening, and we'll see you next week.